Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on the ChaddyTheChump channel, and today we are going to be talking about the recent Netflix show that took place in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Tyson Fury versus Arslanbek Mahkmudov. It was a great night. I attended the show. Netflix, big budget. I was expecting some pretty big things, and we did get that, right, in terms of the fights and the event and everything that sort of surrounded it. So we're going to talk about that, mainly the fights, what goes next, of course, the ever-looming Fury versus AJ. Conor Benn as well is a very interesting topic. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So then let's talk about Tyson Fury versus Arslanbek Mahkmudov. Right, Tyson Fury gets the win pretty easily, right, unanimous decision, not a knockout, which in my previous predictions I did say that it was probably not going to be a knockout. I just didn't quite feel like Tyson Fury, 16 months out the ring, all this had enough for a knockout, and it didn't come, right? The start of the fight, Mahkmudov comes in, going for it, he went for it, and that's what he had to do. He went for it at the start, charges towards Fury, and we see, Fury on the back foot from that. But then, I knew it'd stop, I knew it'd slow down, and it did. And Mahkmudov ultimately gets outboxed in the ring, and it ends up being a Tyson Fury victory, but not, a very special one, right? Fury, he didn't look as good in there. 16 months, it really did matter in this fight, because Fury didn't look, as good as he once did. He didn't look like an elite sort of boxer, right? He was still good, but there were times of fight, Fury, was getting caught flush even late by Mahkmudov at times, right? And it was never enough, don't get me wrong, but, you get caught flush to someone, like these guys, Wardley, Dubois, it's not gonna be good. So of course, in the old Tyson Fury, he won't get caught as much. He was brilliant defensively. This Tyson Fury defensively was not as good, and that showed in the fight. But he got the win at the end. And of course, the call out is to Anthony Joshua. So who's next for Tyson Fury? Well, it's pretty simple. It is Anthony Joshua. It's going to happen, finally, right? The UK fans have been waiting for it. AJ, was a bit, he didn't want to come in the ring. He didn't want to have a face-off, which, I guess understandably so. I mean, there's still a lot, to go to make this fight, right? AJ is, I'm pretty sure, exclusive with DAZN. And Netflix said that this fight was going to be on Netflix, right? And I'm sure Netflix would not pass up the offer of AJ versus Tyson Fury being on Netflix. So that, is one of the things where, is it going to be on DAZN? Is it going to be on Netflix? Are they going to partner, right? Netflix, a subscription-based platform that does not ever do pay-per-views, whereas DAZN, very much, also subscription-based, but they do pay-per-views. So are DAZN going to have the biggest fight in British boxing for, decades, not a pay-per-view? I don't know, right? They've got the ultimate subscription, but it's still, there's a lot to think about, and a lot that is very confusing, not sure what is going to happen. Of course, the deal still needs to be good done. The location should be Wembley. Of course, there's things about, promoters were saying Croke Park was one of the options, which is just mental. It's got to be in Wembley Stadium, but of course, availability of the venues and everything else, there's just a lot. There's a lot with this fight, and fairly so, because it is a massive fight. So They're going to have to do that. Whether AJ will have a warm-up or not, I'm not sure. Right, having a warm-up against someone like Deontay Wilder is very risky. So, is it Wilder as the warm-up? Probably not, right? Of course, I'd like to see that, but then the Fury fight is in jeopardy. So, let's just see this fight finally. Hopefully, we will. But now, let's talk about Conor Benn versus Regis Prograis. So, Benn, Prograis. One thing I'll say before we actually talk about the fight, this is easily the loudest I have ever heard a crowd be for a co-main event. I was there. Holy smokes, it was loud in there. It was absolutely loud. They were hyped up for Conor Benn versus Regis Prograis. You know, when Michael Buffer first, came onto the microphone, the crowd went crazy. And I was a little bit shocked, right? And also, the stadium was pretty much full for this Conor Benn fight. So Conor Benn, known in the UK for sure, but unfortunately, this fight has not made anything any better and has probably made it a lot worse, because Conor Benn goes on to have a not so great performance against a Regis Prograis that has now admitted he had many injuries going into the fight. The jaw, the everything, right? He had, leg injuries, so many injuries, right? And the fact that performance by Conor Benn was not good whatsoever. The power was not there at all. Conor Benn had no power at all. He never even hurt Prograis during the fight. And since Prograis is already hurt with the injuries, you should probably hurt him a little bit more and have him a bit dazed. Conor Benn didn't. He played it safe. Or did he? Did he actually play it safe? Or did he just, go as best he could? And really, the performance was not good at all. And Conor Benn, I can safely say, is not at, world level. He's not at European level. He's maybe is at European level. He probably as good as maybe a British champion would be, or maybe a European. Like, if I think about European champions, like, if you think about Troy Williamson, I don't think he'd beat Troy Williamson. Like Callum Simpson, I don't think he'd beat Callum Simpson. So, when you say that, you're British level, really. And that's what I do think Conor Benn is. So, unfortunate, of course, because there was a star to be made there, or a star, like a massive star in the works, and it's kind of gone. He'll fight Ryan Garcia for the world title, but he will lose, and that's very unfortunate, but it is what it is. I think if he fights any of those guys at 147, he is definitely going to lose, right? Devin Haney would outbox him. Shakur would outbox him. Garcia will outbox him. Even like Lewis Crocker, I think, just has more power. But, he got paid the amount he did, which was a lot, and he'll get paid again against Ryan Garcia, and then I think that will probably be the end of Conor Benn. Now a quick rundown of the rest of the card. Richard Riakporhe shocks me by defeating TKV in 5 rounds by knockout. Big win for Riakporhe, right? He'll go on now to bigger fights in the heavyweight division. Of course, he's called out the winner of Wardley versus Dubois. I don't think he'll get that. I don't think that will happen. But maybe he'll get a big fight. He is coming on in age, right? But he's still probably got 1 or 2 years left. So maybe 5 fights or something like that. for Richard Riakporhe, but unbelievable win for him, and that will change his career now, and he'll get some big fights. Of course, he's with Boxer, so he might, you know, try and get out of that deal with Boxer. Of course, they're in a bit of a state right now, but there are big fights to come for Richard Riakporhe. Also, on the main card, Frazer Clarke does way better than I actually thought he would do against Justice Huni. Right, Justice Huni, of course, gets the win by split decision, but Frazer Clarke did well, right, and I think he'll be gutted that he didn't get, you know, maybe 1 or 2 more rounds won, because that win would have been massive. And Frazer Clarke, still a good fighter, you know. Justice Huni, maybe not as good as I thought he was. I mean, he outboxed Wally. It's just, you know, I don't understand if Justice Huni is world level now or British level. I don't know. We're going to have to see him in more fights. But Huni does get the victory. But Frazer Clarke, credit to you, because that was a good performance. But overall, a great Netflix card. The budget was insane. We got these things which basically light up. So if you saw like loads of lights in the crowd, it weren't just phone cameras, it was actually these souvenirs, and you get to take these home. So big budget for sure. But overall, great night. Netflix putting on big shows. Turkey Al-Sheikh putting on big shows, and yeah, we love it. We love it. Fury AJ. Hopefully we hear some news, but let's carry on with this great boxing run. The next really big one, especially for me, I'm hyped for this one, is Wardley versus Dubois. We've got Cinco de Mayo weekend as well, which is going to be very, very good. And overall, a lot to come. But thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.